This week on Beacon Web News, Julia Texera covers MCLA's town hall meeting after Southern Vermont College announced that they will be permanently closing the college. Ali Tino reviews Cloud 9, Genesis 2.0, and more in entertainment. Water damages in the library become disruptive to students. Andrew Stroud visits the Parlor Cafe to see bands Forks of Buffaloes and the Mountain Carol perform. That's coming up next on Beacon Web News.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Beacon Web News. I'm Karen Canella. Writer Maggie Nelson will be giving a lecture at Williams College on Thursday, March 7th at 6 p.m. in the Adams Memorial Theater. Nelson is known for her genre-defined style, whose work includes poetry, autobiography, and art criticism. This lecture is free and open to the public. Southern Vermont College announced early Monday morning that they will be closing the college permanently at the end of the spring semester. SVC's administration insists that this was the best choice for both students and faculty. Julia Texera has more on the story.
On Monday, students at Southern Vermont College were shocked to learn that their school would be closing after the spring 2019 semester. On the subject of the closing, the school has cited low enrollment and its loss of accreditation. Southern Vermont College President David Evans has said, and I quote, "From an ethical standpoint, it wouldn't be right to continue to attract students to the college, particularly if the college accreditation were to be withdrawn." In response to this, MCLA has set up an official Teach Out plan that includes the creation of a transfer website for Southern Vermont College students looking to complete credits. When the news broke, MCLA President James Burge sent out an email confirming the partnership between MCLA and SVC. Burge will go on to inform more community members about this development during a campus town hall. After the town hall, Burge talked about how MCLA is making accommodations for SVC students.
So MCLA has a credit residency requirement, which means that students have to take their last 45 credits at MCLA. What we're doing because of the special circumstance at Southern Vermont College is that students who are within 15 credits or have 15 credits to complete, we're going to waive that 45 credit requirement and let them take their last 15 credits here and graduate.
Burge has said that MCLA has received 16 applications in total and 9 students have been accepted so far, with more applicants incoming as SVC students scramble to figure out their next move. And for Beacon Web News, I'm Julia Texera.
Musician George Clinton and his music collective, Parliament Funkadelic, will be performing at Mass Mocha on Saturday, March 9th at 8 p.m. in the Hunter Center. P-Funk began in 1968 and members have been joining the group ever since. This concept is part of George Clinton's final tour with P-Funk before he retires. Tickets can be purchased from massmocha.org. In Pittsfield, the airport runways were recently repaved, but due to a change in management, the project has gone over its budget. This is the third time since 2016 that more money has been requested for this project, and it is largely due to a change of management that occurred before construction began. The project has been given nearly $7 million to be completed, and Stantec Consulting Services is now asking for $90,000 to finish the project. Ali Tino reviews some of the latest pieces and topics in entertainment. Let's go to her to find out more.
With the weather the way it's been, it's no surprise that many of us enjoy a cozy night in under a blanket with Netflix. Who doesn't? But if you're feeling trapped and ready to go over those late winter blahs, there's plenty going on beyond your four walls. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, BWN has got you covered in all arts and entertainment. Starting March 8th, MCLA's theater department takes a trip across the pond for its production of Cloud 9. According to their Facebook page, Churchill's play explores the ever-changing world of sexual politics as we follow a British family from colonial Africa to London in the 1970s. Victorian repression clashes with liberal expression as the play shifts between these two worlds and time periods. The play is a journey of self-discovery and about self-acceptance. The MCLA audience is asked to think about one of the most powerful struggles of our everyday lives, the struggle to be who we really are to our family, our society, and ourselves. The play runs for 5 days and you can catch it at 8 p.m. There is one showing at 2 p.m. as well. Cloud 9 is intended for a mature audience and viewer discretion is advised. Moving on to Mass Mocha. Thursday, March 14th at 7 p.m., catch Genesis 2.0, the third installment of Present Tense, a collection of documentary films. If you're someone who's fascinated by species who once walked the earth, then you should definitely check this out. Genesis 2.0 follows the harvesting of woolly mammoth tusks and explores the potential for researchers to bring extinct species back to life. Pretty wild. Tickets are $9 and the event will be held in Club B10. Lastly, maybe you're looking to chow down on some popcorn and kick back in the North Adams Movieplex. Here's what's currently showing. Alita, Battle Angel, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Isn't it romantic? Happy Death Day to you, and more. Green Book, which just took home the Academy Award for Best Picture, is also an option. Not to mention the final film in the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy, which has been soaring through the box office with stellar reviews. That's it for your arts and entertainment. Make sure to check back with us every Wednesday for new content. Until then, watch a play, go see a movie. The options are endless. You might just find yourself on Cloud 9. For Beacon Web News, I'm Allie Tienel.
This Wednesday, March 6, 2019, the Women's Center is kicking off their second event during Women's History Month. Janetta Candelario is starting a conversation on Dominican transnational feminism at 7 p.m. in Murdoch 218. Don't miss this informative night. You might learn something new. On Saturday, March 9th at 1 p.m., come support the women's lacrosse team as they take on UMS College in their season home opener at Shoecroft Field. Water damage in the MCLA library has caused inconvenience for library staff members and students studying in the quiet floor. Let's see the latest update on the leaky roofs.
The Frio Library's quiet floor in MCLA is known for being a less distracting environment for students to study. But as the leakings from the roof of the building become more aggressive, the quietness of the floor is losing its reputation. Robert Fertini, maintenance working foreman of the college, commented to the Beacon newspaper that the troubles the leaks have caused for maintenance workers over the years has increased, as well as the financial burdens. The college has a 30-year warranty with contractors who have already visited the college twice when the roof needs to be fixed immediately. Alicia Alter, Acquisitions and Technical Director Assistance, told us some of the effects the leaks have on the library, including it distracting students and damaging books.
Since I've been here, I think it's gotten worse. I think this is there's like 5 active leaks now throughout the stacks. So I think it's gotten worse, and I think the instability of the weather, like the weather is getting cold and it's getting warm again, is sort of like affecting the pace of the leaks and stuff like that. It's definitely been difficult to manage them. It's also distracting, like, for students.
Alter tells us exactly what happens when the leaks get worse.
So the facilities personnel have been putting up those umbrellas that you see, like the sort of like tarps on the ceiling, and redirecting them into like buckets, and they have to like empty out the buckets a lot. A lot of work goes into it in that way to kind of keep up with it and manage the dripping and stuff like that. The roofing company would be the one that would come in and fix it. But it's just the facilities personnel who are coming in and taking care of them, you know, just collecting the water pretty much and making sure it doesn't damage the books and stuff like that.
The leaks in the library has not only been affecting MCLA employees, but has been an inconvenience for our MCLA students. Let's hear what they have to say.
It's not terrible. I mean, it just doesn't look great.
They're definitely inconvenient, and they don't distract too much, I think, from using the library. Just aesthetically, they sort of stand out.
I think it should definitely be fixed, but it doesn't deter me from like coming here and studying.
It's just when it's actually leaking, it's just annoying. I mean, it's hard to work in that area, so I haven't really been in that area because of the possibility of leaks. So.
Library employees and MCLA administration is looking forward to sitting down and discussing some of the resolutions that there should be for the library issues. For Beacon Web News, Karen Canella.
Come taste the rainbow with IGE and RPS on Tuesday, March 12th from 7 to 9 p.m. outside of the Taconic Room of Berkshire Towers. Stop by to make your own rainbow cookies. There will also be a raffle, and the prizes include 3 $10 gift cards from Dunkin' Donuts and 3 t-shirts. The Berkshire Mall is losing 2 more stores as last week's Mastercut's hair salon closed down and Victoria's Secret plans to shut down on March 4th. Since October of 2015, all 4 of the mall's national anchor tenants have left, along with several other smaller chains. For this week on Take Note, Andrew Ballargen points to some of the different ways students can ask for help when they're struggling with academics.
As we approach midterm season at MCLA, classes can begin to drag a little bit in some cases. Maybe you're taking a class to fill out your flowchart, but it isn't one you particularly enjoy or believe you benefit from much. The night before, you stayed up until 2 in the morning completing a homework assignment in this class. Your day is off to a crummy start, and you just don't feel like going to class that day. Depending on the class, there are varying attendance policies which may serve to deter you from skipping class. Now, some professors just don't care, and your grade will more or less be unaffected. Then you've got classes that are strapped for time, or you have a professor with strict attendance policies, and you might lose a letter grade for missing a single class. To that point, do attendance policies here need revisions? After all, as Yogi Berra once said, if people don't come to the ballpark, how are you going to stop them? It's difficult to say because what works for one class might not work for another. For example, the Model United Nations class, which has essentially ended at this point, had a very large time constraint. It had about 3 weeks to meet before the conference it sought to prepare for was held. If you missed a single class, you missed out on a lot. This was made very clear by the notion that missing a single class would be met with a 1/3 letter grade reduction if the absence was not excused, with the standard for excused absences being quite high. This otherwise barbaric standard would receive backlash in a typical class, one which met more than 8 times a semester. On the student's end, attendance in classes, especially for underclassmen, should essentially be a given. By letting yourself skip a class because you just didn't feel like it, you are putting yourself behind the 8 ball in some way. You either miss out on important material and fall behind that way, or you are directly affected via grade reduction. Would you simply not show up to work at your future career because you just weren't feeling like it? How about on a job that, while not largely beneficial long-term, was necessary to pay your bills? If you find that you are consistently having down days which are draining your motivation to go to class, there are resources on campus which can help. MCLA has a great health services facility with talented, experienced staff that can definitely be of use. If you are looking for a less complex approach, talking about it with your professor or faculty advisor could also benefit you. Aside from that, even banter with a friend can prove useful. Whatever you do, you should do your best to try to get to class, irrespective of its attendance policies. Thank you, and make sure to view Beacon Web News next week for another edition of Take Note.
On Thursday, March 14th, express yourself at a meet and greet with a fellow LGBTQ students, faculty, and staff, hosted by the Identity and Gender Equality Resource Center. The event will be held at the Parlor Cafe and runs from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. Allies are also welcome. With tensions rising over border control, Dr. Justin Knight, an assistant professor of Harvard's Anthropology Department from Harvard University, will hold a talk on the walls as weapons, infrastructure, injury, and rescue on the U.S.-Mexico border, hosted by the Sociology, Anthropology, and Social Work departments. The event focuses on fieldwork with emergency responders. It will also examine the politics of injury and rescue in the militarized area. The talk will be held on Thursday, March 7th at 6 p.m. in Murdoch 218. The Parlor Cafe brought bands Forks of Buffalo and the Mountain Carol to the coffee shops earlier last week, and Andrew Strout was there to capture the show.
If you walked past the Parlor Cafe last Wednesday, you may have heard the faint sound of mellow tunes drifting through the air. Two local bands, Forks of Buffalo and the Mountain Carol, performed in front of a packed Parlor.
Love being at the Parlor and having this space again for music. Yeah, it's just really cool to see local musicians getting a space to do what they love to do.
Forks of Buffalo is from North Adams and claimed that many of the songs they played would never be played again. Synthesized beats clashed with atypical guitar and bass riffs.
Our inspirations really come from folk and jazz, Americana, electronic music, rock and roll. We like to be inclusive.
The second band to play was the Mountain Carol from Saranac, New York. Taking over the Parlor's piano for the night, Bruce Wilson also delivered his surreal singing voice, put through a vocal modifier. The band stated that they encompass many music genres, but identify their songs as heatwave.
Come on to the castle, I'm shy, I'm the castle. Come on to my...
There's a lot of rock and roll energy in what we do. It keeps it pretty hot and heavy, I think. And I guess I would say that it's timeless.
Wilson's vocals were accompanied by Austin Petroshune's violin, an unusual combination for a rock show that surprised the audience with how well it worked. Co-owner of the Parlor, Nick Tardivi, discussed the event.
It was kind of cool to have something that was very laid back. Everybody was really attentive, just all eyes on the bands and the musicians.
If you missed the show, Forks of Buffalo and the Mountain Carol's music can be found on music streaming services like SoundCloud and Spotify. For Beacon Web News, I'm Andrew Strout.
In an effort to preserve the environment, the hot topic of plastic and reusable bags has been on the table at Pittsfield's City Council for some time now. In an attempt to ban plastic bags that are primarily utilized in grocery stores, the decision was delayed once again. With a proposal that's been 6 years in the making, it received recent pushbacks due to an overwhelming factor. If you want a bag, you'll have to pay. The charge will only be 5 cents each, but consumers in stores have already taken issue. Despite this, however, the goal is for shoppers to bring reusable bags with them not to only save the charge, but to save the planet. Student Development and MCLA has proposed that students in faculty wear MCLA Spirit on Fridays to get the chance to win a prize. MCLA letters in both colors of gold and blue count as school spirit. MCLA's mascot, the Trailblazer, will be personally walking out in the campus center looking for the most spirited person to hand a prize to. Make sure to wear your school spirit every Friday and look out for our Trailblazer. That is all for this week's episode of Beacon Web News. Make sure to follow us on social media for updates and to watch our episodes. Visit us on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great weekend.